what I would like to go with this conversation, Rich, is talk about maintaining desire in a long-term relationship. So, assuming men have done the work on themselves, they've become more of an alpha dominant male. They're making a dent in the universe, as you say, with their work, with their profession, with their hobbies. They have male friends. They're doing cool things, and they want to secure a long-term relationship with a woman who they really click with and they vibe with. One of the things that I think is universal, and research shows this, is desire tends to drop in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
So what are some tips about how to maintain that desire?
Yeah, desire for men and women drops differently, by the way. So Esther Perel talked about this in several of her books, but for men, it's kind of a slow trajectory, but it does go down. For women, it's more like a hockey stick. It's like it just sort of like goes down. It just goes down very quickly and just kind of goes off like that. It's tough. I'll tell guys very honestly, it's a lot more work to maintain a long-term relationship than what it is to date multiple women simultaneously in a non-monogamous fashion. And you lose a variety when you commit in an LTR, generally speaking, because women usually demand monogamy from men. Here's the thing. There's a stand-up comic. His name was Patrice O'Neill, and he did this bit on fishing boats. And I'm going to somewhat butcher the bit, but you'll understand it when I get to the end of it. He's talking about having a fishing boat and you go out there and you fish and you don't always keep the fish. You reel it in, you examine it, maybe you weigh it, you take a picture with it to let people know that you can catch fish, and then you let it go. And he says, at some point a fish is going to jump in your boat and be like, where do we stand? I kind of like you, I want to be here, sort of thing. And you might choose to keep that fish. And then at some point the fish will say something along the lines of, well, we've been together for a while, why do you still have a boat? Right.
Mm.
And the thing being is, for a woman to like you over a long-term basis, she has to know that you can catch fish and that you can smell like fish a little bit, right? Because a woman wants a man that other women want and other men want to be. So I think that one of the problems that guys run into, and this is a slippery slope, because you got to balance this somehow. So how do you, especially when we talk about things like monogamy, how do you commit to a woman and give her what she wants, abandon your sexual strategy, and then let her know somehow that you still have options?
It's
So
tough.
that's a slippery slope that you sort of have to navigate, because if she doesn't think that you have options, if other women aren't interested in you, like, she wants other women to be interested in you, but she doesn't want you to exercise those options, right? So it's very weird. Um, it's difficult, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't have a cut and dry, A plus B, sort of thing equals the answer. But it's being on some sort of pursuit, putting a dent in the universe, being competent, being influential, having a good social network, being able to make good money, being a good problem solver, being a good father, a good parent, a good husband, a boyfriend, whatever that happens to be. She has a very long list of things that you need to be for her to maintain genuine burning desire. There's an interesting study that I quoted in my book. I can't remember the title of it off the top of my head, but they were checking in with people that had been together an average of something like 8.5 years. And they were asking them whether or not they were in love, whether or not they disliked each other, whether or not they were in bliss. The other categories don't really matter, but the percentage of people that expressed that they were still both in love was less than 13%. The category of people that still expressed that they were in a state of bliss was something like less than 3%. So your chances of maintaining genuine burning desire over a long-term basis with a woman is very, very difficult. One of the problems too that guys have to resist as well is this process called betatization through 1,000 concessions, which again I talk about in the book. And essentially it's her testing your competency, her testing your resolve as a man. I'll give you some examples. I'm brushing my teeth and I'm looking out the back window and I'm standing on the carpet, and then she starts nagging me about brushing my teeth standing over the carpet because I'm going to get toothpaste on the carpet. And then most guys would be like, okay. And they'll just go to the bathroom and they'll do what she says, sort of thing. Whereas the competent, influential alpha man will just look at her, carry on with what he's doing, thinking in his head, be quiet, woman, and just, finish what he's doing and then go to the bathroom and spit it out, not making a mess because he's a adult male. And then it might go to, put your white socks in the white hamper and your black socks in the black hamper, sort of thing. And he complies with that. So each one of these little things, which women will generally say, well, that just seems like a good idea, Rich, like, why would that be a problem? It's a problem because if you put a stamp in his hand with a yes on it, and every time you ask for something, he goes, yes, 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 yes. It just stamps everything. Your attraction for him is going to go downhill. There's no two ways about it. It just will happen. You have to get comfortable with using the word no when you're in a long-term relationship. It doesn't require a further explanation. It's a statement, and that's it. It doesn't require an argument or a debate most of the time. And it's a balance, right? There's certain things that you're going to have to give her. There's certain things where you're just going to be brushing your teeth, look at her, and just carry on with what you're doing anyway. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.